Hey everybody, happy New Year's Eve, and yeah, the cold's moving in. That cloud cover is moving from north to south, and I'm just kind of bundled up here, got the quartz heater on. It's kind of a rare time when I run the heater during the webcast, but it's definitely needed, and yeah, some snow grains out there also pouring down. So let's take a look at the charts there, and you don't have to go very far north to get into that cold air. We start out with single digits in Kansas and 15 in Oklahoma, which is not really that cold. But once you go up into the northern plains, lots of minus 20s and minus 30s. And you can see that part of South Alberta here got 38 degrees below zero. And then we saw a couple of other minus 30s north of Thunder Bay. And then when you go into western Montana, much warmer. Lows were only around 22 degrees there at Missoula. So that shows you just how shallow the area is. From here to here, 42 degree temperature difference. And let's show you what the highs look like. Those were pretty impressive. Alberta there getting minus 17 to minus 19 for highs, minus 22 at Calgary, and a lot of readings below zero north of that line right there. And then down to the south, not unusually cold, 30s and 20s there in Texas. So here's the thickness and isobars showing the cold polar air covering everywhere from northern Canada, Alaska, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And the axis of strongest temperature gradient is moving into the southern states right there, near the Gulf Coast and South Texas there. And the high itself, 1052 millibar high coming in through the Dakotas, and that'll gradually sink southeastward into the Ohio River Valley, Illinois, and Missouri there. Things are pretty warm out west, though. Pretty typical air mass there this time of year, and as you saw, the highs in that region, we're up to the 50s and 60s, and even a few 70s there in the deserts right there, 76 at Yuma. So that's where you want to go to escape the cold. This is the potential temperature map. This is the temperature reduced to sea level adiabatically. And that pretty much demarcates the eastern edge of the Arctic air. Not quite to Albuquerque. Highs there, 60 degrees, even 46 there at Santa Fe, up at 8,000 feet. And it's really when you get on the other side of those mountains east of Albuquerque and onto the eastern plains, that's where we pick up the western edge of that cold air mass there. Okay, let's see here. Bad video settings. Let me see what's going on here. I'm going to reload the YouTube dashboard and see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what this is about. See, I'm getting this bad video settings. But not really any complaints there. So let me just go through the chat. Maybe it'll settle itself out here. I did have to relaunch the webcast when we started, so I could change the date there. Let's see. Carl Berghoff says Happy New Year 2018. Sue M. also saying Happy New Year. Burl H. minus 10 with a minus 35 wind chill. Carl Berghoff minus 16 in Wisconsin. Burl H. calling it cold. Ryan Toomey is going to be up till 6 a.m. waiting on drivers and other vehicles coming in the warehouse. Temperatures falling fast into the mid-40s there tonight in the Miami area. Jason Boggs looking for a cold night in the Texas Panhandle. Lows near zero. 3 degrees where Sue M is in Indiana. Carl Berghoff says it has been a brutally cold week. Alexi mentioning snow and 26 degrees in Bell County. Jeff Krob joining us also. 15 degrees on the Maryland eastern shore, but not windy. Alexi says, don't forget to hit the like button. Jeff Krob mentioning wind grids 5.12 being released later tonight. Yeah, that's great news there. And Suim says the video's okay. Yeah, my indicator here turned green and now it's yellow, so I think the problems may indeed be settling out. David Holcomb is delivering pizzas insane cold in New Braunfels, Texas. That's between Austin and San Antonio. And Jeff Krob saying Tim helped find a few bugs. Okay, very good. All right, so let's see. Let's head into the weather. And this is giving us the temperatures in Celsius, so I'm going to switch over to digital atmosphere here. And this will give us our temperature plots at this time. So minus 33 here in southern Alberta right now. And then our secondary axis of cold east of Winnipeg there, minus 26 in that region. And Texas, of course, is also getting cold. We're also getting a little bit of wet bulbing. You can see the dew points coming into Texas in the single digits and 15 to 20 degrees. So the 20 line is slipping into the hill country of Texas and just east of or west of I-35 there. So 15 at Oklahoma City, 46 at Houston, 33 at San Antonio, and about 10 in Wichita. Looking at things out to the east, you can see Florida there, got 68 there at Miami, 63 at Fort Myers, or is that Fort Myers? I think that's... I'm not too sure how far up and down the coast. I'm not sure if that's Fort Myers or that is. I'm inclined to think that's Fort Myers there. Anyway, the front is up to the north. So Jacksonville, 50 and 45 at Gainesville. And as you go further north, we get into the 30s and 20s in the Carolinas. So the leading edge of the coldest air, kind of hard to define that. It's just kind of a gradual transition to cold air. And in the Rockies, yeah, there's the eastern edge. It looks like some of the cold air has come through the passes around Colorado Springs, coming up to the Continental Divide there. And that's the western limit of that cold air, getting a little bit of upslope in northern Colorado and around Cheyenne. Okay, I guess we'll take a look at the mesoscale patterns and let's see, did this load? Nope, that didn't load. Okay, this one did. Okay, let's check this out. Montana, we're getting green there. That's even colder. So minus 28 in this region here, starting the day, and you can see the cold air pretty much checked on the western side by the terrain. So it doesn't move very far west at all. Maybe a little bit comes into western Wyoming right there. But let's see here. We got a little bit of high pressure in Idaho. Let's see where that's coming from. Yeah, I think there's some radiational cooling there in Idaho, so we're getting a little bit of high pressure starting to build in right in that area, and temperatures probably coming, yeah, showing in the single digits in the Snake River Valley right there. And it looks like some of the cold air is banked up against the Cascades, kind of right in this region right here. Inland, 20s in this region, and then on the other side, 40s in the Seattle area. So we'll see if we can see that on the satellite photo. There may be some stratus and fog involved there. Okay, Texas, let's see here. Here's what Texas looked like earlier today. It looked like a little wedge of warm air in the eastern part of Texas there, most of the cold air, heading into the hill country. And you can see that cold air coming south overnight into tomorrow. So it is going to be colder tomorrow. And let's see here, by Monday morning, we've got single digits coming down to the Red River and towards Abilene and Lubbock. Then we warm up during the day on Monday. And then the next night, a little bit of a warm up there. The Weather Service was looking for a lot of teens in North Texas, but it looks like the model has kind of warmed up a little bit since then. And yeah, and for Wednesday, we warm up into the 30s in much of Texas there. For the southeastern U.S., this just shows the cold air coming southward. This is about right now. There's the leading edge of that air. And you can see it spreading down through the Florida Peninsula. And it arrives in Miami around, looks like during the day on Monday there. And let's see what the temperatures are looking like in Miami. For Sunday, today 73. And then for tomorrow on Monday, we're looking at a high of 78 there at Miami. Then the cold air arrives, cool down, and then the following day, for Tuesday, looking for about 67 there for a high. So cooling down by about 10 to 15 degrees. And let's check out the Midwest. As we pointed out yesterday, the main trajectory of the cold air is right down through this region right here. A lot of air mass modification going on, so we're not going to see minus 20s in Illinois, but it is going to be cold. So we're looking at highs in Indiana for Monday around, looks like about 8 degrees, 68 degrees right there. Then overnight lows below zero in some areas. And then after that, we should see some gradual modification of the air mass and things warming up. So this shows you how cold it is, the bulk of the cold air, a little bit further east, or a little bit further west than usual. And let's see, we were going to look in the Spokane area for any clouds. I was going to check out the Cascades here to see if maybe there was a lot of overcast, and yeah, there is some there, but I think we've got an old Pacific air mass kind of stalled in this area right here. But yeah, definitely some fog and stratus around Washington, and then you go over on the other side of the mountains, and there's all the fog and stratus there associated with the cold conditions. Then we go down into Kansas and Oklahoma, a little bit of clearing there. And then we get into the tropical clouds there in Texas. So we're getting a little bit of lift there. And aloft, conditions are actually pretty warm and moist in Texas. So let's see if I can show you a bit of that. This is the Fort Worth sounding. So, yeah, very warm aloft. In fact, we're almost near 50 degrees up at 10,000 feet. So a very strong inversion from about 2,000 up to 10,000 feet. And here's that northerly flow. It looks like it's picked up a little bit, but only about 10 to 15 knots. And if we had more of a north to south push, I think we'd be seeing temperatures about 10 to 15 degrees colder easily. So this is actually a very weak push of polar air. It's more of a density current, if anything. It's just the sheer density of the cold air just kind of gradually spreading south with not much of a push behind it. And then in the, let's see here, we'll look at Glasgow. And this shows you how the Arctic air is relatively thin in that region. The polar air probably tops out here, but the coldest of the polar air is pretty close to the surface. There's Rapid City right there, topping out at about 12,000 feet. And we'll look at Lincoln, Illinois. Cold air topping out at about 16,000 feet there. So quite a bit of depth there, and the tropopause down to about 24,000 feet. So we'll let you look at the infrared imagery. So there's the big cold air mass spreading south, a lot of green and yellow across the northern states there. And looks like we're getting a wave moving across Texas right here. So that's kind of a major shortwave trough moving west to east. And with that, we could see a little bit of snow and sleet as that moves across that cold dome there. And a couple waves out on the Gulf too. Okay, so let's see. Let's check out the chat here. Kind of a slow night in chat. Let's see. Kathy Campbell Wallace joining us. Megan John reporting -9 in Minnesota. Bighorn Basin, snow cover and cold. 6 degrees above zero there. Jeff Krob checking out Goes Banding, Channel 12. Why does high pressure bring cold temperatures? They're closely linked because the high pressure is caused by the cold temperatures. So this is more of a heat process where we lose heat to space, and we're not replacing the lower layer with more heat from below because it's kind of insulated there. So we end up with very strong cooling, and the pressure rises with that. Okay, so Jeff Krob answering the Arctic air question. Very good. Suim says, Tim, wishing you happy, successful 2018. Thanks. And 58 degrees there where Ryan is at Fort Lauderdale. Okay. Here's the next system coming our way. In fact, yeah, we can see the one crossing the Rockies right here. But the deep Pacific tropical air, that's poised to head into California there. And let's see here. Yeah, there's the wave right there moving into West Texas. And here's the deeper Pacific air just south of San Diego. So it looks like we're going to see an increase of moisture in the southwestern U.S. as the Pacific track starts picking up here. So let's put it together and check out the forecast. Okay, 1052 millibар high spreading southeastward. So it's just going to be kind of a cold night most places east of the Rockies. For tomorrow night, it's going to be looking like this, 1048 millibar high over Iowa. And just kind of a continuation of the cold weather. We'll have more advection into the Gulf Coast region, so much colder there. Then for Tuesday, not much change. High pressure moving into the Paducah, Kentucky area. Very cold nights. This will probably be the coldest night for Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma. And then for, let's see, Wednesday, Okay, for Wednesday, not much left of the Arctic air. Looks like another outbreak coming southeastward, and we get a system developing out over the Gulf Stream, moving up the coast. And there it goes. This is kind of similar to the situation we had during the 1993 superstorm. Similar cold air outbreak moving across the eastern U.S., and then we had a weather system developing out in the Gulf of Mexico that moved across Florida and up the coast. So that does happen with these outbreaks here. So another outbreak of cold air coming in over the weekend. Only 1040 millibars for that high, so a little bit weaker. And then we have another system moving through the northern Rockies on the 7th. And outbreak developing behind that. That'll come into Texas around the 8th to 9th. And into the Midwest there. You can see there's some rain moving up all the way to Michigan, so definitely a warm-up. And cold air moves back in on the 9th and 10th. A couple of southern track systems moving across the southern Rockies. And then kind of quiet, and another system comes west to east, coming into Texas around the 13th. GFS going for some thunderstorms there in Texas. And this is storm season for the Gulf region, kind of in here. They do get big tornado outbreaks this time of year, so this will bear watching here. So that'll move across Mississippi and Alabama on the 14th and 15th. And then we're back to cold weather for the 16th. This one covers more of the western U.S., 1040 millibar high over Salt Lake City, so some cold air out west. Okay, yeah, you all are hearing the fireworks. Yeah, there's a bit of that going on since I'm out in the country. I'm surprised anybody's going out in this cold to do that, but that's how it goes there. Lizard's Lair saying Happy New Year from New Hampshire, minus 19. And Sarah saying whoever is shooting off fireworks is a few hours early, definitely. And Alexi saying they started with the fireworks there. Okay, that's about all I got for tonight, so I'm going to relax and get ready for the new year. So y'all have a good evening, and we will see you in 2018. Take care.
With your coat and gloves, same time every winter, smiling like you knew